Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today's video is going to be this. We're going to make an advent calendar, and I'm going to use some dies and some stamps from my stash, and I'll go through that in a little while, what products I actually use. But this is my advent calendar. So it will open in book form. It has a ribbon here at the side tying it together. I have an area on the back here so I can write a little message from Granny and Granddad to our granddaughter Jane, because this advent calendar is going to be for her. So when you look to the side, I have some ribbon here, and it will open our advent calendar like so. And isn't that fabulous? I got some great dies from Craft Stash. They're the Simply Made Crafts shadow box die, and I thought that if I made two of those and put them together, it would make an awesome base for an advent calendar. And you can see my advent calendar goes up to 25 because I believe there should be something nice for Christmas Day as well. And yeah, this is it. I used dies to make the shadow box. I didn't use a die for the little boxes, but I used, I'll go through that all with you in a while. So just to let you know that anything that doesn't use dies, measurements will be down in the description below. There'll be links down below as well to the products I've used. If you use my links below, they will bring you to Craft Stash or Love from Lizzie, where I will get a little kickback. They're affiliate links, so if you use them, I'll get a little kickback from that, but you don't get charged anything extra. So if you're interested in any of the products I use, I'd be delighted if you use the links that I have below. So what do you think of this? Do you like my little decorations? Would you believe that they are cake decorations for your Christmas cake? I know, I was looking for nice little sized decorations and I thought they would do wonderfully, and they did. My advent lights up. The little switch is down here in box number 1, and if you turn it on like so, the whole thing lights up. Now if I turn off some of my lights, you might see how well it looks. Doesn't it look fab? Now the camera is picking them up as quite bright, but they're a lovely warm little light, and I think that that just looks fabulous. I love it. So we'll put back on the lights now. And yeah, so let's go ahead and have a look at the products I used, and then I'll go through each of the products then to make it up. So sit back, relax, and enjoy my video. So let's have a look at the products that I'm going to be using. I'm going to use this. It's the Simply Made Crafts large shadow frame box die set, and you can see here it makes this large shadow box, and that's what I've used. I haven't used this piece for the front because ours will close as a book like you saw at the beginning. This die I'm using, you can actually make this without the die. There are some tutorials out there, and I would recommend looking at Made to Surprise as well as Positively Papercraft. I think they both do tutorials using or making a shadow box without using dies. So if you don't have these dies, you'll be able to make your shadow box that way. This is how I store mine inside the packaging. I use a 300 GSM white sheet of cardstock. I add a magnetic sheet on top of that, and I put it into this clear wallet. It's open on the top and one side, and it's closed then on the other two, and I store my dies like this. So I have used this large die here for my frame, And I've also used this die here, which will join our two boxes together. And you can use these pieces for putting layers, etc. on yours, but I haven't used them this time. So that's the shadow box frame that I have used. Next, I have used products from Paper Discovery. These are the Elegant Room Builder die set, and what I've used out of this is the Christmas tree. So that's it here. It's quite a large die. I'm not sure whether products are available, what products are available, but I will link down below in the description, as I've said earlier, the list to the products that are available, as well as measurements, etc. So that's the three that I've used out of that pack. I also used this. It's the Paper Discovery Elegant Nursery Alphabet and Bunting die set. That's it there. And I just used the numbers for the front of my boxes from this. I've used the label dies. These are Love from Lizzie, and they're available on Lizzie's website, and I used those on the front and the back for my Christmas message. And then finally I had this stamp. This came free in a magazine, and I have used the Have a Very Merry Christmas stamp on that. So that's the products that I've used from Craft Stash. Other products that I used for my little images, my Santa and my Rudolphs and reindeers and snowmen, etc. I used cake decorations because short of going on to Amazon and going through an awful plethora there, I was in my local home store and more, and they had decorations, and these are just the perfect size for my little box. I've also made this. It's my little North Pole piece. I've just cut a couple of strips of brown card, stuck them together, and then cut out these three pieces. I used a white gel pen on them and used some white Papercraft ink to give it the look of snow. For my snow, I've used the faux snow. You'll have seen it earlier as well. I don't have the packaging from this. I got it, I think, last year or the year before, and that's what I've used for that. And then finally, these are my little trees that I've made. You can see they're considerably shorter than the actual die. I used two inks on these. I used Papercraft white ink and VersaFine Clear Shady Lane, and I just took a couple of different coloured green cardstock. They're all about 280 GSM, and I have just done some ink blending in the dark and in the white, and I have different sizes here so I can have them in the background, and I'll put some up on foam tape as well. And finally then I have a little piece of ribbon, and you'll have seen that as well, that I use that to tie the box closed. So that's all the bits and pieces, the dies and stamps, etc. So let's go ahead now and look at the pieces and assemble them. So I have everything here ready to go, so I'll just move that all over. And the first thing we're going to look at is our box sides. So when we die cut out our piece, it looks like this. And what I've done then is I have assembled it. It's all ready to go. So I'll show you what I'm going to use first, and then we'll go through some assembly. So I have 4 of these for one side. So in total, you'll need 8 box size for that. To embellish those sides, I have some pattern paper, and again, you'll need 8 of these. And these pieces measure 1 7/8 by 10 inches long. Then I have this piece. This piece is 9¼ by a little over 2 inches. It's 2 1/8 inches wide. This piece is going to sit on top of our boxes which have our treats in them, and on top of that then I will add some of my faux snow, and I have that already done here and ready to go so that I wouldn't be waiting for it to dry. So I have that piece ready to go there, and like I said, I will have in the description below all the pieces that I'm using. I have my side piece. This is what's going to join our two boxes together. I have one of those, and I've die cut that out twice so it's nice and strong. I also have the back piece for the back of our shadow box. Now you will need 2 white pieces, and they measure 10 by 10, and you'll also need 2 pieces of pattern paper, and they measure 9 3/4 by 9 3/4. So that'll be the box, the back of our box. Onto that then I'm going to add this. These are the label dies. I have taken the largest and the second largest one. I'm going to add that on here, and that'll give me somewhere just to put a little message, a memento message for the recipient. I've also die cut out one, the largest and the third largest. I have the white one up on foam tape, and I have stamped "Have a very Merry Christmas" on that. That will be the front of our advent calendar. I also have this piece. This piece measures 9 1/4 by 3 1/8, and this is going to sit above where our boxes go in at the back, and then our Christmas trees will go on against that as well, and our snow piece will sit down the front here. And then finally I have our piece to make our boxes. So for this piece you'll need a piece that measures 9 by 6½. On the long side, which is the 9-inch side, you want to score it at 1/2 inch, at 2 3/4, at 4 3/4, and at 7 inches. Then rotate it round and score again at 1/2 inch, at 2½, and at 4½. And these will give us our boxes. You can either make 24 of these or 25, and you'll have seen I'm making 25 because I think on Christmas Day, although we do get gifts etc., we should be still able to open a box on Christmas Day. So it's probably not the norm to have 25, but I liked the idea of 25, so I'm putting 25 in. So it's up to yourself. You can either have 25 or 24. So for the front of our box, where I have my numbers, I have a little piece of pattern paper, and this measures 2 inches by 1 3/4, and that'll sit on the front like, which one does that go into? This one. Okay, yeah, goes in this one just here. So that'll sit in there like that. We have some cutting and some score lines to burnish, etc., and I'll go through that with you now in a minute. The only other thing I have here is this. It's a little 1-inch, I've used a punch to punch this out. It's a little circle. It's 300 GSM card, and again it's for the boxes. It's to allow us to pull the box out from closed. So I've just put that little tab on it there, and then as you'll have seen, I have little sweets in my boxes, and that'll close up like so. So that is everything. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through the I'm going to fold and burnish this piece, which is our shadow box side. We'll need to make up the 8 of these, and then 4 for each shadow box. So I'm going to move everything out of the way now, and I'm going to start doing that. I know that some people, when they get these, they like to pop these into their scoreboard and then rescore along all the different score lines, but I found that the score lines for me, they do fold really well. And once you use your bone folder or your scoring tool, I have one here that I like to use, and just burnish those really well, you shouldn't have any problem. But if you find that the score lines aren't very good, then definitely pop this into your scoring board and rescore all the score lines. I have lines on my scoreboard for doing things like this, just to make it easier, you know, to do it and line things up. So again, you can go over the lines to help with folding and burnishing them, or just go ahead as they are. But I'm going to now clear everything off, and we're going to work on our shadow box sides and putting our shadow box together and doing our little box inserts as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is burnish all the score lines. And I just find when you do that, you'll get a nice crisp edge to your shadow box. And Helen Griffin, as well as Vicky from Crafty Heaven, they both have tutorials using this shadow frame box. So feel free to have a look at their tutorials for more inspiration. So now what we need to do is we need to add a little bit of adhesive onto this flap here, and then stick that on to our side piece here. So I like to just burnish it over like this. That way then I know that that will just fold over and stick straight down. So I'm going to add some double-sided tape along this side. Now you can use liquid glue if you like. I'm going to use a little bit of double-sided tape, and that way it'll attach quicker. But I'm also going to use some liquid glue as well. So the double-sided tape will hold it in position while the liquid adhesive sets or dries. So that's why I like to do it this way. So I'll fold that over. So I'm folding it over on this second score line here. I hope you can see that okay in my lighting. It's a very dull day here in the west of Ireland. So I have all the lights on. So now I'm going to burnish that down. Again, I'm burnishing it so the double-sided tape catches nicely and the liquid adhesive catches nicely. Now I have a little bit extra here. It's just sitting up proudly, so I'm just going to take that off with my scissors. So there we go. So now we want to attach all these together. So when you have them like so, we need to attach these together, and they attach via the by the little tab here that gets stuck in here. So that'll go in there and it'll stick on, and then this piece will sit on like so. And then we'll have the same with this piece. That'll glue in there like so, and then we'll join our two together. Now some people actually join them all in a big long line and then, you know, bring them up. But it's really up to yourself how you like to do it. So that is how each of these little tabs goes into an end piece. So the tab slips in there, and then this slides in there. So it sits like so, and you'll have this end piece out here. Before you add your pattern paper piece on here, make sure you add in your ribbon so you can tie the two together. I forgot, but the great thing about Collal glue is it allowed me to lift it up and then add the ribbon into it. So now we're moving on to our boxes, and we have 24 or 25 of them depending on how many you want to put in yours. So we need to do some cutting, and what I'm going to do is I have my 1/2 inch tab to the top and I have my 1/2 inch tab to the left hand side. I've zoomed in a little bit so you could see, but I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. So I'm going to cut up these score lines here just up to the first score line. These are the bottom tabs of our box. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then 4, right where this little 1/2 inch tab is here. Now what I want to do is I want to put some little wedges in these. So just little ones, it'll just ensure that they sit nicely when we glue the bottom of our box. And these won't get seen, so you don't have to be too careful with your wedges. So once I have all my little wedges taken out, I'm then going to remove this tab here. So rather than cut it straight across, which you can do, what I want to do is I want to put a little wedge in this. So I'm going to rotate it around and I'm going to take a little wedge off that there. I'm also going to cut up this score line and I'm going to take a little wedge off that. This is our tab that is going to join our box together. So now we have this 1/2 inch tab along here and this little square here. I'm going to again rotate this around and I'm going to take this whole thing off here. Now I'm going to cut up all these score lines here past the first score line, which is our little 1/2 inch tab, and down to the second one. And I'm going to do that with all of these score lines. Once I have that done, then we need to remove some of these. So I'm going to turn it around this way. So we have our little 1/2 inch tab here. What I want to do is I want to take off half of this, all this piece here. I want to cut it in half, because that, if I show you here, this piece here is going to be one of these tabs, and then we're going to have, it'll actually look this way actually. So cutting half this off is this half tab, this piece here is this one, this piece here is this one, and then this one we're going to cut away all together. So if I do that with a pencil, we want to cut half this one away here, half this one away here, and then we want to cut all of this one away here. So I hope you can see that now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these ones down. And you don't have to be precious about it, but these are the tabs you'll see inside. So try your best to get them straight. I'm going to do the same on this one. And then I'm going to cut this whole piece off. So it's going to be easier if I turn it around this way and cut this off. And we want to be nice and tidy with this one. So I'm going to cut away the score line as well. So now we want to take some wedges off these, but you want to take tiny wedges off them, because if when we close the box over, you can see here I have some wedges off them. We want this to sit in here like so. So don't take any wedges off this 1/2 inch tab at the top. Take them off after you make the box, because if you take too much off, they'll just wobble around and they won't sit in nicely. And I learned that after I had made it. But you can always put a little piece of card on there, and when you put that in, it'll help it stay in there if you like, but it should stay fine. So I'm going to take a little wedge off my little piece here and a little wedge off this one here, and I'm going to do the same on this one, a little wedge off here and a little wedge off here. And then this 1/2 inch tab here, we will cut a little wedge off either side if they need it once we have the box assembled. So I'm going to assemble the box now, but what I like to do is fold and burnish all the score lines. So I'm going to do that next. I'm going to fold over on these. So I want to join my tab. So this, we've got one score line here, one score line here. I'm going to fold this over like that. I'm going to add glue on here, and then I'm going to fold this one over on top, and that'll secure our box. So you can use a little liquid glue, you can use some double-sided tape, whatever you prefer. If you're using liquid glue, just give it a chance for the glue to dry or set. So I'm going to fold that over. Make sure your bottom score lines are matching as well. And then I'll use my bone folder and I'll give that a little press, and that'll help it to adhere. So once we've that done, now we want to fold in our tabs. So our boxes are going to sit like this. You can see that they're going to sit this way. So our flaps will close in like this. So I want to fold this one in last. So I'm going to fold the opposite one. So this is where our little side tabs are. I'm going to fold this one back out of the way, and I'm going to fold the one opposite it closed. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to this, and then I'm going to close one of these over. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to that, and then I'm going to fold this one over, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to that one as well. And now I can fold that one over. And now I'm going to add some liquid adhesive to this. And I'm going to fold this one over on top of that. And like I said, you won't see these tabs because they'll be they're going to be glued into the shadow box. I've just added some pressure. So now if we close our box, we'll find it's very tight. So all I want to do is take the barest little wedge off the sides of those and just check it to make sure it closes. And like I said, I learned that the hard way. So that little tab, just take the barest piece off it. So now our box is going to sit like this. It's going to open this way. So I want to put my little piece of patterned paper on here. And like I said, all the measurements for these are down in the description below. So I'm going to add that on here. And then the next thing I want to add is my little punched circle, or your die cut circle, whatever you have, and that's going to sit on there. So we'll add a little bit of adhesive to that as well. And then I can pop that on like so. And I'll try and make sure it's in the middle, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And that will sit in there like that. So there's our little box ready now to go into our shadow box. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to add in all my little boxes and do some decorating. So again, I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to do all that. I'll play some music and then we can do some more assembly. I've added the pattern paper to the sides of my box. You can see them there. I've added the back on. I put my ribbon. When you're adding your ribbon and your back pieces on, don't forget to add your ribbon in. So I have all my side pieces on except for one side, and that is because that side is going to be stuck onto this side. So I've one half done, and I'll bring that in here. So this is the one I've half done and decorated, and this piece here is going to attach. So I have no pattern paper on this side here because I want to attach this piece, and that is going to attach using this piece that we've die cut out. So I'll just add some double-sided tape to this, and then with a little bit of adhesive I'm going to stick that on so it sticks on here and then onto the other side, so our box will open and close like so. And then I've got my little lights on. I'll just pop them on so you can have a look, and then I'm just going to bring them around and through to the other side, and we can decorate that up. So like I said, I'm going to pop you onto high speed, and I'm going to add my pieces into the box. So the first piece I want to add is my pattern paper piece that goes across here. I'm going to add that one in there, and then I'm going to glue in my boxes. And so here we are at the end, and I have to say I love it. There's little things about it I think if I was making this again I might change, but in the grand scheme of things I'm chuffed with this. My first advent calendar, and it is a whopper. It's a fabulous size, a little over, so it's 10, let's see, it's 10 1/4 by 10 1/4. The height works out at a little over 4 1/4, so it's about 4 3/8 in height. So it's a great size. I mean, the boxes are a lovely size. I have my bow then here on the outside, and with my ribbon in gold matching. I have a panel then on the back where I can write my message. You could stamp a sentiment on this, but I'm going to use this little area to write all my message, and you can see all our sides there. There is the back then where it'll open. So I'm going to open the ribbon and we'll have a look. And there we go. That is the inside of it. And I just love it. I think my cake decorations are perfect. I'm going to turn some of the lights off. You'll also notice this box was number 24. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see. This box had been number 24 and this one had been number 1. And because I put the light in here, the switch to turn it on and off, I swapped them around. So now when the person is going in for the first box, they'll get their goodies in there and then they can turn the light on, because I thought it'd be stupid really if that was box number 24 and there was sweets in there the whole time. So I'll turn off the lights around, and it's dark enough now that you can see it. Now the lights are very kind of glowy there, but they're lovely in in the light, here with the lights off. They're just fab. I love them, and there's not too much of those little lights. I know you can get lengths, you know, these ones I think have 20 lights on them and some of them have 50 and whatever, but I just think there's enough in that to have a little bit of light in there. And you can see our cake decorations, I think they look great, and our little forests behind. I love my little handmade signpost pole with North Pole, the Netherlands and Ireland, because the Netherlands is where Jane lives, Ireland is where I live, and everyone wants to know where Santa Claus is. I love the way we have our little Santa Claus up here and doesn't it fit perfectly in that little space? And then all our little snowmen and our little reindeers and everything. I'm delighted with it. Our boxes then, they work really nicely. I'm just going to throw this behind so it tilts it up a little bit so it's not flat down. That's better. So our little boxes then open like so, and there's little bags of sweets in there. I have little bags of Haribo jellies. I've little bags of Haribo sours. I know Jane's daddy loves the sour ones. I've little bags of buttons in here as well. I'm not sure now which ones are buttons, but there's little bags of chocolate buttons in there and little love heart sweets as well. So yeah, and they're a nice size box too for putting stuff in. So that's it, folks. I hope you've enjoyed my tutorial making this advent calendar using the fabulous shadow box dies from Simply Made Crafts, and all the other little bits we've used I just used from my stash. I figured I've got lots of Christmas bits and pieces, so you don't have to use what I've used. You can use whatever you like, whatever you have in your stash. If you enjoyed my video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber and you'd like to see more of my videos, and don't forget to ding the bell. That way you'll be notified when I post my next video. So all the links, like I said, are down below in the description. If you click on my links, some of them are affiliate links. They won't cost you any more, but they'll give me a little bit of a kickback. That way I can put it towards getting more great crafty stuff. The measurements are down there for you know, stuff that I've put in that don't have a die, like this panel through here. Normally you'd put another one of the strips, the framing strips, but I put this panel here so it kind of hides where our two boxes are joined, and I think it looks really, you know, it kind of finishes the whole look. In case anyone wants to know what the paper pad was that I used, it's this one here. It's Twilight Wishes, and I got that from an art shop in my local area. It cost me $16.99. It's a Dovecraft one. I'll put a link there to it if I can. It is an older pad, so you can just use whatever you know, Christmas papers or whatever that you like, but in case you want to know, it's a Dovecraft Twilight Wishes 12 by 12 paper pack. So that's it, friends. If you make this, I would love for you to share it on my Facebook group. It's called Your Cards and Crafts, and it, you know, it's for you to post your makes when you see anything that I put up. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to leave it there, and until next time and my next video, take care, stay safe, and bye for now. Bye bye.